Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and like and subscribe for better powers next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Angel, Warren Worthington III, a man with the wings of a bird. Bars. Honestly, that's it though. His only power is wings. Literally just make an Aarakocra and you're done. As long as he never signs up with some ancient pharaoh mutant god that loads him up with new powers. But what are the odds of that happening? Oh, that happens.
A sexy angel.
Are we supposed to pretend like you're not dressed like a giant bird?
I mean, if you're gonna be sexy, don't dress like a bird.
I didn't dress like a bird. I'm clearly an angel.
No.
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, flight. We need wings to let us flutter around in the air. Next, we need to make sure that we're ready to fight, ideally diving in and out so the fighters on the ground can't keep up with us. Finally, we'll get covered in steel spikes that we can throw at people and get energy blasts, and also a steel exoskeleton, and also the ability to raise the dead. Holy hell, that escalated quickly. For Zants, we'll be using the standard point buy from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just make sure you're strong and hot. Set your strength and charisma at 14. You need to be strong enough to be chosen as a horseman, even if you're a birdman, if that makes sense. Constitution at 13. You've got a small healing factor. It's weird how many X-Men have that. I guess I'm not complaining though. Dexterity at 12. Before you slap the chrome on your wings, you generally keep things pretty light. Intelligence at 10. You're not dumb, but we don't need it, and we'll dump wisdom down to 9. Whoopsie doopsie, guess someone signed up with a death god. For your race, Aarakocra have wings on their back and arms on their fronts, so that's what we'll go with. I guess they also have beaks and claws, but I can reflavor the claws to be wing attacks. Maybe. Anyway, +2 dexterity, +1 wisdom. You have 50 feet of flying speed, which is so good at level 1 that it's pretty much banned in every game. I didn't believe it myself, and then I ran a campaign with a Kensei Aarakocra at level 3 who took on the entire rest of the party by themselves. It was actually sick, but I get it if people don't like it. Those talons I mentioned earlier let you deal 1d4 plus your strength modifier and slashing damage with your unarmed attacks. Nothing wrong with calling those wing slashes in my mind. Take the noble background for history and persuasion proficiency. Warren Worthington III might be the most guillotine-ready name I've ever heard. Bars again. We'll kick things off as a fighter. Before you became the Angel of Death, you were just a dude who fights people pretty good. First level fighters get 2 skills from the fighter list. Nothing wrong with athletics and acrobatics. Those will help you carry your teammates and break out of grapples. For your first fighting style, unarmed fighting makes your unarmed attacks deal 1d6 or 1d8 if you have 2 free hands, and you can deal a d4 of damage to a creature you have grappled once per round. That's not even including the damage when you drop them out of the sky and watch them turn into a meat pancake on the ground. You also get second wind, letting you heal 1d10 plus your fighter level as a bonus action once per short rest, helping you get some of your feathers back after you start molting. Second level fighters get action surge, letting you make 2 actions in the same turn once per short rest, so a grapple check and a dash action to get into the sky 50 feet up. That sounds fun. Let's do that. Third level fighters can choose a martial archetype, and eventually I'll want thrown weapons, so Eldritch Knight will let us get those back in our hands thanks to Weapon Bond, which lets you summon a weapon back to you as an action. So if you're throwing down bird knives, this is how you're going to get them back. You also get spells and cantrips. Message lets you whisper something to someone 120 feet away, and they can whisper back, so you can talk to your squad mates on the ground. Gust creates a small blast of wind that can shove a creature 5 feet back within 30 feet of you, but it's a strength save with your intelligence modifier, so shoving is probably just better. For your first level spells, Shield adds 5 to your AC as a reaction to throw your wings in front of your face to keep you safe. Mage Armor makes your AC 13 plus your dexterity modifier when you're not wearing armor, and Long Strider increases your movement speed by 10 feet for an hour. That's an extra 5 feet of grappled movement to get higher before dropping people. I just think it's a really funny way to fight people. Fourth level fighters get an ability score improvement, get your strength higher so your eagle hugs are harder to resist. Fifth level fighters get an extra attack, letting you make 2 attacks instead of 1, so you can grapple, pummel, and fly all in the same round, then pummel 2 more times with an action surge. Turns out, Bird Boy is pretty dang good at fighting. Sixth level fighters get another ability score improvement. Keep moving your strength up. We can't quite cap it off yet, but we will soon, and then nobody will be able to get out of your strong arms. Seventh level Eldritch Knights get War Magic, letting you cast a cantrip with your action and still attack with your bonus action. This is another one of those things that's going to get much better later when we get edgier. You also get second level spells here. Warren Worthington's Warding Wind whips up wind in a 10-foot radius around you that deafens you and other creatures in the area. It extinguishes fires and vapors, makes the area difficult terrain, and ranged weapon attacks have disadvantage when they pass through the area for up to 10 minutes depending on your concentration. Unless the enemy is also flying, ranged weapons and spells are the only way to hit you. Flying speed is busted, folks, and we're just going to keep making it worse. Yes! 8th level fighters get another ability score improvement. We can use it to cap off our strength score for maximum grapples. Hopefully, the original mutant will be impressed by us picking people up and dropping them. Seriously, Apocalypse can create and destroy matter at will, but he sees Warren picking people up and dropping them and is like, oh yeah, this guy for sure. So we're gonna fly on over to Warlock, letting us decide what kind of benefactor Apocalypse would be. I think Celestial is fitting, since he plants his Celestial seed inside you. That doesn't sound right at all. You get the light cantrip for free to see in the dark with your bad Aarakocra eyes, as well as Sacred Flame, forcing a dexterity saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they take 2d8 radiant damage, and you can ignore cover to fire your beam around a corner. But that beam sucks. Grab Eldritch Blast instead. It deals 1d10 force damage with a ranged spell attack, and you can shoot 2 beams at this point. It's not busted yet, but Apocalypse will supercharge it in a second. Blade Ward lets you give yourself resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage if you're just carrying an angry Canadian into the sky for maximum drop damage. This is a decent way to avoid being carved up. For your first level spells, Expeditious Retreat lets you dash as bonus action for up to 10 minutes, depending on your concentration. That means with Long Strider, you can grapple someone and fly them up 60 feet into the air into the same turn. Funny thing is, they might not want to break the grapple. Protection from evil and good gives you some protection from evil and good. Aberrations, Celestials, Elementals, Fiends, Fae, and Undead will have disadvantage on attacks against a creature of your choice, and they can't charm, frighten, or possess them as well. This is the Redemption Archangel rather than Archangel, if that makes sense. You also get Healing Light, which are a number of d6s you can distribute as a bonus action to heal yourself or your friends, and you can use a number equal to your Charisma modifier in a single round. I'd just use it for another regeneration factor. Multi-classing spellcasters with Warlock isn't that scary. Basically, you have the same spell slots you would have if you didn't multi-class and can cast either spell with either slot. Second level Warlocks get Invocations, special powers from Apocalypse to help you bring about the end of days. Agonizing Blast lets you add your Charisma modifier to the damage of your Eldritch Blast attacks, which will get really nuts later, but even now, it's plus 4 damage every round. Eldritch Spear makes your range 300 feet with an Eldritch Blast, so you can just hover out of range and spam energy blasts. It's quite the good time. Third level Warlocks get a Pact Boon, a little gift from your big blue benefactor. Pact of the Blade lets you make a magical weapon and conjure it back to your hand as an action. A spear would fit the bill for a little yeeted metal feather action. Though hey, Eldritch Blast is sitting right there. You could just use that instead. You could also learn second level Warlock spells. Shatter lets you force a Constitution saving throw on creatures in a 10-foot radius, dealing 3d8 thunder damage to those that fail, half as much to those that succeed. Inorganic materials have disadvantage on the saving throw, so it's great for breaking a wall or blowing up a sentinel. 4th level Warlocks get another ability score improvement. Start getting your Charisma modifier up for stronger energy blasts and more accurate ones as well. For this level spell, Enthrall forces a Wisdom saving throw on creatures who can hear you. Failing that, they have disadvantage on perception checks to spot other creatures. Idea: shout, "Hey, I'm a giant birdman in the sky. Isn't that worth looking at?" And then the people on the ground will say, "Yeah, probably." 5th level Warlocks get another Invocation. Repelling Blast lets you push a creature 10 feet every time you hit them with an Eldritch Blast beam. Since you're shooting 3 beams at this point, that's a 30-foot shove without a save. Hilarious. With Action Surge, that's 60 feet, even funnier. For this level spell, Revivify brings a creature back to life that's been dead for less than a minute. Some low-level Necromancy, even though it's maybe the best resurrection spell for a party. Raise Dead and True Resurrection don't have time limits as intense as this, but if someone dies on the battlefield, this brings them back with no penalty, other than, I guess, a really expensive diamond. 6th level Celestial Warlocks get Radiant Soul, giving you resistance to radiant damage, and you can add your Charisma modifier to the damage of a spell attack once per round that deals radiant or fire damage. The first part is the best. You're not an Aasimar, even if you're literally angel themed. Turns out, not everything is 1 for 1 in D&D. At this level, we'll take the Fly spell, which seems weird, right? You're already flying, but that sets a creature's movement speed to 60 feet per round, even if they're wearing heavy armor, meaning if you want big metal wings without sacrificing speed, you can do that now. We'll jump back over to Fighter now. 9th level fighters get Indomitable, letting you re-roll a failed saving throw once per long rest, almost like you have a guardian you. 10th level Eldritch Knights get Eldritch Strikes, meaning when you hit a creature with an attack, they have disadvantage on saving throws against spells you cast until the end of your next turn. You don't really have saving throw spells. I wish it worked on grapple checks. 11th level fighters get another extra attack, letting you make 3 attacks instead of 1 with your action, so you can grapple, then double pummel on your way up to Drop City. 12th level fighters get another ability score improvement. Keep pushing your Charisma modifier up. As fun as dropping people is, spamming Eldritch Blast is going to be your best bet. 13th level fighters get another use of Indomitable, but as an Eldritch Knight, you also get 3rd level spells, like Haste, letting you double your movement speed, add 2 to your AC, give yourself advantage on dexterity saving throws, and an extra action to dash, disengage, hide, use an object, or make 1 more attack. If you use it to dash, you can get 180 feet in the air with a grappled target once per turn for 18d6 6 falling damage. Of course, it only lasts for a minute depending on your concentration, and when it ends, you're gonna have to take a round off of actions and reactions. Almost as though blasting through the air like an eagle takes a lot of energy or something. Our capstone is the 14th level of fighter for one last ability score improvement, cap off your charisma modifier for maximum eldritch blasts, and also to be hot. Who doesn't want to be hot? Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, flying is really good, and you're really good at it. Whether you want to have 70 feet of base flying speed with heavy armor, or 120 feet with haste up, you can move wherever you want, whenever you want. Eldritch Blast is also very good, especially with extra range and the ability to hover out of enemy range, and Action Surge to deal 8d10 plus 40 damage in a single round from spamming your beams. Actually, with haste up, you could grapple with your haste action, fly 60 feet into the air, drop them, and then spam that 8d10 plus 40 damage after 6d6 falling damage. Very, very busy boy you are. Finally, you're really defensive. When you've got the metal wings, your AC is 18, and you can shield to push that up to 23. For weaknesses, you've only got around 130 HP since we didn't get a chance to invest in your constitution. Not going to be great if you're fighting people up close. Your wisdom is also pretty bad, so Hold Person could shut down your mobility and send you crashing to the ground. Finally, this isn't Taylor Lift from our How to Get High in Dungeons and Dragons video, so it's just not as good, but Taylor Lift is obviously an Omega level mutant. This is still pretty good for a guy who can fly, and also the servant of an immortal death god. Fly high, protect yourself, and drop people till you see them splat on the ground like Wile E. Coyote. Just watch out for someone else who could fly. Thankfully, there aren't any other mutants who can do that. Wait, what do you mean roughly half the mutants can fly? That's your entire thing. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.